I know that Disney these days has an embarrassment of riches, but it's a little frustrating that Raya and the Last Dragon is coming out the same day as the WandaVision finale, because this movie deserves its own window for discussion, because it's truly incredible. It just could have come out a week later. It's frustrating. I believe that under Jennifer Lee's leadership, I'm so happy for her. She's really doing an amazing job as the new head of Disney Animation. Remember, after John Lasseter's unfortunate, hugging problem, they split Disney Animation and Pixar once again into two separate entities, with Pete Docter running Pixar and Jennifer Lee running Disney Animation. And I think her leadership and incorporating live-action filmmakers new to animation, like Carlos Lopez Estrada, this is his first directing gig in animation, although it seems he's going to be sticking around with Disney for a long time, which, after seeing this movie, I totally understand. And then also screenwriters like Qui Nguyen and Adele Lim, also new to animation. I believe we're entering a new Disney renaissance. And while this isn't a musical, I would say that Raya and the Last Dragon is at the level of Howard Ashman's Disney work. I know. And Ashman himself, of course, was new to animation, coming from musical theater. And I don't want to discredit the work that animators and, career-long, animation artists bring to this work, but I think it's the excitement of putting newbies from live action into the mix with people who really know what they're doing with animation that creates this this Disney magic. I mean, this movie really is firing on all cylinders. It's incredible to watch. It's incredible. Now, when we saw the trailer for Raya and the Last Dragon, we were a little surprised that it seems so heavily modeled on Avatar: The Last Airbender. Because after all, how could Disney, the House of Fairy Tales, hope to compete with the action-adventure and distinct Far East influences of Aang and Korra? Well, it turns out that Disney can compete and also make it their own, as they layer in heavily the fantasy foundation that Disney animation is built on. Oh, this still has a lot of fantasy, and I loved it. So in my tweet, when I tweeted after I just watched the movie and the social media embargo had been lifted, I tweeted that it was Kill Bill meets Avatar: The Last Airbender, a combination that many of you were instantly excited about. But I'd like to add a third film, and that's Aladdin. And I think all three of those movies very much make up Raya and the Last Dragon. And I'll explain my reasoning, but with no spoilers, in just a moment. But first, overall, what's so impressive about Raya and the Last Dragon is its scope. The film itself, not including the credits, we have to do that now, WandaVision, is an hour and a half long. You get an hour and a half of movie. The same length, actually, as both Frozen films. And while the Frozen films are iconic, Raya has even more story. It's not a musical, so every minute advances the story. Think, instead of musical numbers, you get fight sequences. So cool. Although the fight sequences are shorter than a musical number would be. So again, it still frees up more time for story. And it's got more visual detail. By the way, I'm not dissing Frozen, but this is very much clearly building on the shoulders of Frozen for Disney animation to reach even higher, which is fantastic. I mean, we've got more visual detail here, not just in terms of character, costume, and production design, but also the directing. So let's start with Kill Bill, because the visuals in Raya are as strong as Tarantino's girl power classic. Many of the shots in the film are striking and framed with the kind of care that creates an emotional impact usually only reserved for live action movies. You don't usually have this kind of sophisticated framing. Like Kill Bill, Raya is a mashup of martial arts films and westerns with a lone warrior against a lone adversary going head to head. So cool! There's one shot that you've seen in the trailers where Raya, determined, marches into a palace, the brim of her hat, a little bit like a western, and as everyone else runs out past her. And it just felt so much like it came out of Kill Bill. It was fantastic to see. Next, how is this like Avatar: The Last Airbender? Well, here, just like in those series, the world building is very, very strong, with different nations and action woven deeply into the story of each one. And like the Avatar series, the animated action sequences here are on par with live action, very well choreographed and realized. In one scene, Raya and Namari battle one-on-one. They have a couple of tussles, but one in particular, you can feel the force of their blows. It was thrilling. The Droon are a very real threat and create terrifying sequences, a level of threat unusual for Disney films. And the respect for and integration of Eastern religion was very poignant and highly unusual to see in Western content outside of the Avatar series. And for that to come from Disney, which tries so hard to be mainstream and not rustle any feathers, for them to just so really incorporate Eastern religion, I thought was very commendable and very well done. Now, what are the Aladdin similarities? Well, clearly Raya and Zizou have Aladdin and Genie's dynamic. Heck, Zizou is even blue and voiced by a top comedian who's also capable of acing the dramatic scenes as well. Now, it's hard to be as good as Robin Williams, but I think that Awkwafina does a fabulous job. Also, the palaces and overall environments are as beautiful as Agrabah, but with the detail only computer animation can allow. When we were walking through the palace of Raya, I really felt that I would love to see maybe even Aladdin. Well, we've moved over to live action for Aladdin, but it made me wonder what Aladdin would look like, perhaps with what they can do today with computer animation. Because this was just incredible. I was like, I want to go to here. It was the most beautiful resort I've ever seen. All the places were gorgeous. And of course, none of these amazing female characters, and they're all exceptional, even the baby, loved the baby. None of them would be here today without Jasmine, who laid the groundwork for them. I mean, they're really special. The voice work is top notch. Everyone does an amazing job, with a special shout out to Kelly Marie Tran, Awkwafina, and Gemma Chan, who voices the adversary. She was just fantastic. Benedict Wong also delivers a really dynamic performance. You've never seen a performance like this from Benedict Wong in live action. And Dae Kim makes quite the impression as Raya's father. In fact, Chief Benya is particularly well designed animation-wise. He is mesmerizing to watch. I couldn't take my eyes off of him. All the character animation is, I would say, the best Disney animation has ever done to date, but his character especially breaks new ground. I was thrilled. I was wowed. I cried. I genuinely cried. They got me. It was great. Is it worth the $30 for Premiere Access? That's the $30 question. Well, of course, that's up to you, but I guarantee you that you will watch this movie at least twice. I'm definitely going to watch it again when it debuts this coming weekend. It's that good. It is a world you will definitely want to spend a lot of time in because it is incredibly well realized, and there's so much going on in it. I mean, we only get a taste of Kumandra and all these different nations. It's really cool. I think this film is also not only entertaining, but very well structured for Disney from a business perspective. I can easily see a sequel, but also I can see an ongoing animated series that's so clearly set up to spin out of this. I mean, if this hits, and I really hope it does, because it's that good, it deserves, I think it has the potential to be just as big as Frozen. It's really strong. I loved it. That's all I can say for now because there are plenty of surprises in the movie, but I will be doing a spoiler review. Raya hits theaters and Disney Plus Premiere Access this Friday, and I can't wait for all of you to see it so we can talk about it. All right, share your thoughts down below, subscribe today, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.